Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the next instalment of the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up series right here on a Friday night on the InterSim Esports Network InterSim Esports Network. Joining me tonight in the booth is Peter Gretton. My name's Aidan Schultz. Welcome tonight, Peter Gretton, for the next round of the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up series from here at Talladega in the trucks. How are you tonight, Peter?
Yeah, I'm good, Aidan. Good evening to you, PJ, and all the viewers. I've driven cup cars around here at Talladega. It's super speedway, so it's sort of grab a mate sort of stuff. As we're seeing on screen now, it's going to be good fun. The bottom line seems to be the quick way round here, but I don't think the middle line's too much slower. So I've seen some five car wide action in this practice session too, Aidan. So it's going to be something to watch.
Yeah, definitely will, and we'll quickly switch to now. We've only got a minute 36 in practice, but Brenton Hobson, I'm sure you've got a copy there, mate. Want to take us out and do a lap around Talladega for us?
Yeah, sure thing. So if you guys have jumped on board with me, I'm just coming onto the backstretch right now, and got my mate J Russ sitting right behind me, giving me a big old shove down the back straight. This track's going to be pretty draft based, really, the whole race. It's all about strategy to put yourself in the draft. So the whole lap's pretty much one technique, and that's hold it flat unless you're in a big group of cars. So right here we've got a car we're going to try and go around the outside. And it's all about real smooth inputs, just a little bit of left hand down in the corners, hardly any movement in the wheel, and definitely nothing too drastic or sudden. Through the tri-oval, same thing, just don't touch the yellow line because you get a little bit of that banking around anywhere on the track, really, and it'll skew the truck sideways, and you don't want that. Really late finish line there, deep into the straight, so remember that for the last lap when you charge into the finish. You don't want to make your move too early. And then into turns 1 and 2, hug the yellow line around the inside, keep it tight to the bottom, flat out all the way around here at Talladega.
Thanks, Brenton. Good insight there to Talladega. A lot of people think it's not a tricky track and it's not to drive, but you definitely need to put yourself in the window to be there for the last 5 or 10. So doing a lot of oval racing lately there, Brenton, and doing really a great job at it. So thanks again for joining the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up series on a Friday night, and we wish you all the best, and thanks for making yourself available for that lap.
No dramas, guys. Have a good call. We'll hopefully chat to you at the end.
No worries, hopefully, mate, and best of luck.
Yes.
That was a nice clean lap there too by Hobo Aidan as practice finished as we move into quali.
Hey, but are you there, mate?
Smooth inputs was the thing that I took out of it, and the steering wheel that barely moved in his car. So I think he's onto a winner there.
Yeah, around Talladega though, Pete, it's definitely draft. You can start last and still win the thing. You just need to keep your truck or car and truck tonight clean and be there in the last 10 to 15 laps. So the outright pace on the one lap really is irrelevant. So what we're going to see in qualifying is probably not what we're going to see in the race. We'll see whether the guys can keep their head on their shoulders and wait to the end. We've also got a pit stop, 75% fuel, so there's going to be undercuts. You need to stay in the draft. There's a lot to play out, but as we go into qualifying now, we see the 28 car there out early trying to set his lap, Peter.
Yeah, that's 28 of Jaden Russell. Is what I've found with these super speedways as well, as you can see, is up on the high line. They'll make their first lap, their out lap, as long as they possibly can, and then you'll see them move down onto that low line. As Jones now has got a couple of purple sectors. But, yeah, I think it's all about the draft. You hit the nail on the head, Aidan, when you get into the race. Qualifying's good. You want to qualify either, I think, up the front or at the back. You don't want to be in that middle section because it can get messy up front.
Yeah, definitely can. Talladega is an interesting track. A lot of people think these ovals are easy, Peter, but it takes a lot of concentration, especially for 80 laps when you're running side by side, 2-3 wide, right behind the driver in front. It does take a lot of concentration, as we see Brad Allison there coming out trying to set his lap at the moment. So it's good to be back on an oval. Oval is where I feel comfortable, and I love cooling, so it's great to be back here on an oval on a Friday night, and a lot more drivers. So as we see Ruben Phelps there, my teammate in the sim racing world, going around. So excited to see what we're gonna see tonight and what's going to happen.
Yeah, well, don't give your teammate too much of a rap, mate. I remember on another network you sort of gave one of your teammates a bit of a mocker, so we'll keep that one wrapped up, I think, for the sake of your teammate there. But Jaden Russell, 56.1, fastest man out there as we speak. Then JCW or Jones just jumps him actually with a 56.1. So the lap times are coming in. There's only 2.5 minutes to go in quali.
Yeah, they're probably waiting for the track to cool off a little bit. They'll be hearing that from their crew chief that the track has cooled down or whatever. They're probably going to be waiting for that as we're watching there with JCW, Joshua Carroll Walden, setting his lap. So these times, Nankervis is currently on the top with Jaden Russell and Ryan Jones in third, with JCW, who are on board with now in fourth. So it's going to mix up a bit. There are a lot more drivers that haven't even set a lap yet. There's some might actually be wanting to start from the back. So don't be surprised we see some drivers not actually set a lap.
Yeah, I have noticed that with off tracks and not off tracks, sorry, oval tracks and super speedways that even some may elect to start from the pits. I have seen that, not as much in league races, but the officials. So it's oval racing. It's be there at the end. This qualifying stuff, well, it's official, so we sort of got to do it. And yeah, it's be there in the last 10 laps, Aiden.
Yeah, I don't think any of them will start from pit lane. They'll lose too much with the size of the field tonight, which I think we've got about 16 trucks. I don't think they're going to start from pit lane. They'll lose too much. But in saying that, I could be wrong. Brenton Hobson hasn't set a lap yet, who we've spoken to earlier. A lot of the guys haven't, but even if they don't set a lap, they'll be starting off the back. So I'm sure they're not going to start from pit lane. It's not like a road course where you get all jumbled up into turn one and you can get caught up and wreck your race. I don't think it's going to be like that. But in saying that, I could be wrong. But I'm excited to see as we're into the end of the qualifying session with 30 seconds to go here on the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series on a Friday night. We're here at round 10 of 12 with 2 rounds to go after this. With the 98 car there, Stevie Williams joining very late. Good to see Stevie in here tonight. So, Peter, before we go green, mate, I just need to give you a little bit of information, or give the viewers a little bit of information on Talladega. I actually nicknamed my cat after Talladega. It's called Tally. So
Awesome.
I don't like ovals at all, obviously. But formerly named Alabama International Motor Speedway, so AIMS, located north of Talladega in Alabama. It's a tri-oval track built in 1969. It is the longest NASCAR oval. It's 2.66 miles in length, 4.281 kilometers. It does have a capacity of 175,000 for spectators. Cost $4 million to build an asphalt surface with 4 turns. So excited tonight for the next installment of the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series here on a Friday night, as qualifying is done and dusted. And as I've said previously, Peter, by myself, yourself, Prue Gooding, and Paul Jackson, we bring this on a Friday night as we go through the starting order for the next round of the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series. And off pole, we have Reese May in P1, Brenton Hobson, Hobbo 88 in P2, Jamie Nankervis in P3, Jaden Russell, Brenton Hobson's teammate, in P4. Coming out of P5 is Terry Marwood, Jamie's teammate. P6, Ryan Jones. P7 will be Shannon Blackburn. P8 from Crank Esports is Ruben Phelps. Starting out of P9, Joshua Carroll Walden with his teammate Norman Clark in P10 outside him. P11 is Phil Connor, and in P12 is Michael Shaw.
Yeah, 13th and 14th, we got Brad Allison and Michael Moore. 15th, Steve Williams and Fletcher. And to round them out, you got Muscat and Hoppet, which is 17 and 18. But as we said earlier, Aidan, that could have been strategic.
Yeah, definitely 19-car field here tonight with Shannon Wright rounding out the field. So a lot of people joining late. So definitely where they start's not where they're going to finish. So 19 car field around Talladega for 80 laps. It's going to be great to see the draft and what these guys do. So excited to call this with you, Peter. We do this on a Friday night. It's becoming a ritual, and love having you in the booth and getting amongst it for the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series. And as we see someone there really going slow off the start, but yeah, this could mix up the series standings because a couple of the top guys are not in again. So we'll see what happens here on a Friday night, mate.
Yeah, it's good to be back here, Aidan, and I'm starting to really enjoy this this oval stuff and the dirt we've touched on briefly in the series. It's a good series, and this one, 80 laps, it's going to be something to watch. I've seen 5 wide in practice, so hopefully we can replicate that again in the race.
Yeah, definitely. It will definitely be a 3-lane track. Not sure how early they're going to want to do that or whether they're just going to want to sit in. The thing with the super speedways as well, it's about sitting in that draft and saving the fuel. So your pit stop is quicker than the guys in front, but at the same time, you don't want to come out and not have a mate. Around these super speedways, you always need a mate to be able to push around. So we'll see how the guys want to play it out. We do have currently off the front row Brenton Hobson on the outside there, Jamie Nankervis on the inside of the second row. A lot of teammates around each other. We do see on the outside of the front row, rather, if I put my teeth in, Brenton Hobson and Jaden Russell. So they'll be working together real hard. Don't be surprised we see them push themselves to the front early and drop down to the low line and really utilise that fuel saving and maybe even switch up their positions to help their fuel. But we'll see what happens. We're about to go live and green for round 10 of the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series right here on the InterSim Esports Network on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. As we have the cars coming to the green, it's now under the control of the leader. As we're about to go green, it is really, really long, this front stretch, until we get to the green flag. As we are waiting to go green, Peter, I'll let you jump in a minute, but we'll just get these cars under green as we see them holding a nice form as we are about to go green for the next round of the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series right here from Talladega in the NASCAR trucks, and we are green. Peter, take us away for the first lap.
Yeah, it's a nice clean start. As you said, they're going to hold that 2-line race, and as you can see, oh, look at that. See if they can utilise the side draft as well, but the bottom is where they want to be. Oh, look at that. You got to squeeze at the front, but nice clean start. Very clean start, but is battling the top 6. Brenton Hobson in first now. Russell, then Mays dropped down 2 positions back to Jones, and Nankervis is your 5. But it's nice and clean 2-lane stuff at the minute.
And that's exactly what I said would have happened. I would have seen, I said Jaden Russell and Brenton Hobson were going to try and get that jump and drop down as soon as they did, and they've exactly done that. So they have got into the front, but don't look at that outside line. So car 11 there, I'm not sure who that is, but we got Ruben Phelps right behind there trying to create that outside line. So yeah, they definitely jumped down there and trying to work together, but Ruben and the 11 car, and I'm not sure, Ryan Jones in the 11 car trying to make the run on the outside as we see Norman Clark there in behind them as well. That outside line is really trying to make a move early, but these guys are going to jostle and they're just going to get in their position and try and get settled. Don't be surprised if this thing goes green to the end. They'll just try and get settled and field their car on different lines. They'll experiment between top and low. As we see there, Ruben Phelps just dropping down into the inside line there behind Jaden Russell. So they will ebb and flow and just see where their car is. This race is not going to start until lap 78.
Yep, it's the long game right now. It's just getting into the rhythm. They're all trying to get down in that low line. So we might see in the next couple of laps a big chain, because although now they're starting to link up that top. So you got Jones and I think Clark was at Marwood behind. They are leading the top line, as you see another car drop back down as well. So the high line's diminishing.
Yeah, it is. On the high line at Talladega, you definitely need friends to work with you. And as you see, they're getting hung out to dry. As we look at Brenton Hobson there in the lead, Hobbo's doing a great job at the front. He's going to want to dictate terms, but at the end of the day as well, that's him and Jaden are going to need to switch up at some point. With the fuel at the front at Talladega, you're going to be burning more fuel, so you'll have to pit a lap or two earlier than the guys behind. So Ruben Phelps is actually in a great spot at the moment, and Reese May. Reese has been really smart and just dropped back in, and he'll save a lot of fuel doing that as well, as has Jamie Nankervis, a great start. So we're going to have a call for the next 30, 40, 50 laps before they pit stop, but how their fuel strategy and everything's going to happen is going to be interesting to see how that plays out. So really good start by the guys here. Very clean as we go into lap 5 next time around at the InSim Esports Network Switch-Up Series. We have someone trying to go on the outside line there with no help. He's going to have to drop down. There he is. He's hung out to dry. That's Shannon Blackburn. Completely hung out to dry, so he'll probably learn from that, Peter. And sorry, I'm banging on and talking a little bit too much. I'll let you jump in and have a chat.
No, that's exactly what we're here to do, is talk a lot about cars. And what I've just noticed in the last couple of laps is that high line is just really, it's falling further back now. Ryan Jones was leading that up there at the start of the race, and he's back into 12. So the high line, they've sort of split now. The front 6 are sort of starting to break away, and that's Hobson, Russell, Phelps, May, Nankervis, and Marwood. But that high line, it's dropping back. They really want to get down and try and merge like a zipper and get down there, I think, Aiden, because the high lines, they're just losing.
Yeah, they are. Like I said, you really need a mate on the high line to be able to make a move. So a lot of the guys have dropped down, but someone I need to have a bit of a shout out to is Michael Shaw. Michael Shaw's having a great drive up into P9 at the moment, just sitting there in the Activity Hub Bali Chevy, doing a great job in there behind Phil Connor and Brad Allison. So had a great start to the race. He was really quick in practice and must have got a good draft and had a good lap. So fingers crossed, and hope I don't put the commentator's curse on him, but fingers crossed, sure he has a nice clean race tonight and has a good finish. So we'll see how that happens, as there's people still persisting up there in the top line, but I'm feeling these guys are going to go to the back, because you have a look at that long train on the inside. I don't think they're going to be able to get back into the line, but that's Norman Clark and JCW from Natari Autosports FGM eCast. So those guys will be there at the end, but they're really stranded at the moment. Not a lot they can do. They just need to sit there until they get an opportunity to come down.
Yeah, so we just seen the car just jump up, actually. We're talking about going down. That gold car leading them, the high line now. He just come up from the bottom. I think that's Brad Allison, and it is. So he jumped up. So I don't know. He must know something else, but he's now leading the high line. They're starting to link up now. If you have a look now, that's five cars is a good train.
Yeah,
Five cars is a good train.
No, and Brad Allison, he's just trying something different. It's a long race. He's just jumping up, going, okay, at the end of the race, we want to do this. He wants to feel what his truck's going to do and where the pace is. So now's the time to experiment. You don't want to be experimenting it on lap 75. So I reckon that's what Brad's done. He's jumped up and gone, okay, the guys are up there on the outside. Let's have a run and let's see. It hasn't really helped him at the moment, as we see Michael Shaw jump up to the top and try and help Brad Allison as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, join us here on the InSim Esports Network Switch-Up Series. These guys are talking there on their radios and trying to work with each other in their teams, as Shorey has jumped up in front of Brad Allison, and they're going to try and make that outside line work. So let's see, Peter, whether that outside line is going to be able to drag themselves up. They need to use that side draft as well to really get themselves up to the front. But really solid start here by Brenton Hobson and Jaden Russell in 1 and 2. They are really working well together. But I know we're only lap 8 of 80, Peter, but I'm excited to see what happens with Brenton's fuel, because he's running at the front. He's dictating the pace, which he does a lot of the time. He's a great driver, a great streamer, everything he does on iRacing. But at some stage, if I was a teammate to him, I would switch up positions and try and save some fuel. because leading a draft like this, you're going to have to pit a couple of laps earlier, and you're really going to lose that toe. If I was Brenton Hobson, I need to pit on the same lap as Jaden. But in saying that, Jaden might pit the same lap, even though he's got a couple of laps left, as we see Ruben Phelps really pushing Jaden there up the front, really trying to get a gap for the guys behind. So
Further back.
Oh, we have an incident further back, do we?
Yeah,
Peter?
Ryan Jones, I think there was a little bit of a touch there. Nothing too major. They're tussling out the back there too, Aiden. They're touching on 3 wide in some points.
Yeah, they're definitely not leaving anything at home tonight. And we're only 10 laps into 80, but we see that top line now starting to come in. We got Michael Shaw at the back of that one trying to get the drag up on Brad Allison. Who's that? That looks like Terry Marwood trying to run the outside line. We've got Stevie Williams up there on the inside line trying to drag up. Josh Micklemore's just sitting back there at the moment, the wily old fox. We know Josh Micklemore will be up there. He'll get there. So don't be surprised if we see the Mitch Motorsports car get up into the front or in the fray at the end of this one as we go 10 laps green out of 80. Peter?
Well, there's no hint of a caution. Are we going to see 80 clean laps? The drivers, I'm sure, they don't want an 80-lap green race because they want to pit under yellow. But I think now their head's going to be starting to think ahead a little bit towards the race, further on in the race rather. And now they're thinking about pit stops, I think. Aiden, that's one for you, mate. The bottom line or the high line, what do you reckon's worse off on tyres?
Answer to your question, mate. Tyres around here is not an issue. So they won't take tyres. They'll only take fuel. You definitely do not take tyres around here. There's no issue with it, especially with an 80-lap race. If you're doing a 160-lap race, maybe, because when you're coming out of the pits and all that type of stuff, it can get really loose. But you definitely don't have an issue with tyre wear. So I don't think the guys will be taking tyres. They'll just be taking fuel. As we see Ruben Phelps getting a run around the outside, and you watch him drop down now, and he will drop down to the inside line right in front of Brenton Hobson and take the lead of the race.
And Hobson would probably like that because now he's saving fuel. He's in the draft. And you mentioned that earlier that he might want to swap with his teammate, but he's just got a free pass there, I think, Aiden.
Yeah, great job there. Ruben did a good job saving some fuel early, and he wanted to have a run at the front of the race. So he's here now just seeing what the truck's going to do and go, I'm going to lead this thing and have a couple of laps and see what it does. He's got some good drivers around him. That high line's really still trying to make that run as it's starting to, as we've got 6 or 7 cars on the outside line there, and that's what you need to make the high line work, but they all need to work together to be able to get around and use that side draft as Ruben Phelps leads going into lap 13 of round 10 of the InSim Esports Network switch-up series. Brenton Hobson right behind Ruben Phelps there, with Jaden Russell sitting right in behind his teammate there on the inside line. But this outside line is really trying to make it work there, Peter. I think they're going to get the... As we are on! Hobson's upside down!
Big
wreck. No! They were doing so well.
Did not see that coming.
We might have to go back to a replay and have a look what happened.
Oh no, that was that's going to throw a cat amongst the pigeons. Are we in a pit window, Aiden?
Definitely not. Definitely not. But it looks like the caution is out. We do have one fast repair. So what's happened here? Ruben Phelps up the inside. Looks like Reese May has just tagged the inside of, who was that? Terry Marwood, and just sent it. Hobson's gone on a barrel roll down the back straight of Talladega.
Hey, that was a big hit. That was a big hit. He hit him full pace, I think. T-boned him. Drove straight across him. Yeah, wow. Did not expect that, mate. Did not expect that. That was 10 laps green.
Definitely not, mate. But they do have one fast repair, so it's not all over for the guys tonight.
Yeah. So hopefully they use it. Hopefully they get in, get out, and the race will restart. We'll probably lose 3 or 4 laps under caution, but it's an oval race, so it doesn't matter. You can go errorless from here on in and still be up the front. It's been proved time and time again. That's just a little bit of entertainment, I suppose. But yeah, it's a bit of carnage for the viewers.
Yeah, definitely. And Talladega's always known itself to have the big one, and we're 10 laps in, and we just had the big one. We saw the big barrel roll there by Brenton Hobson, Hobbo 88. Unfortunate for him, but it's always around this track. It can go green for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80, depending how many laps, and you're just always waiting for that big one because they do drive so close, and they're in close quarters as we see Jaden Russell come into the pits now with Jamie Nankervis. So we were waiting for the big one, and it just happened, unfortunately. And we were just saying that it was going green and doing so well. And I think we put the commentator's curse on them there, Peter.
Yep, as we do. It's a busy pit lane, actually. I think half the field come in for a stop under caution. So we didn't think they would, but they're back out in front. And Allison, as you said, he's going to be one of the favourites here tonight. He's leading the field away. Bloody hell, that was a mouthful. Shaw and Jones, that's your top 3. Under caution, I think maybe another lap or so. And then we'll get back into it, but they're still making pit stops now.
Yeah, another lap or 2 to go until we go green. So we will see what they do. But that was a really good start for the boys. So we'll see what happens. But as we've just brought up into the booth, Peter, we've got Brenton Hobson in there. And sorry for bringing you up, mate, without giving you any warning. But lucky you got one fast repair, mate. It was a great start to the race. But a couple of barrel rolls down there on the back straight. Not a good start to the race.
Yeah, just decided that we might take some of the paint off the roof. I think it was slowing us down in the straight line. So, see whether or not that helps us out any here. But yeah, it's a bit unlucky. I mean, that's plate racing. I couldn't really fully see what happened, but it looked like the 2 guys on the outside bumper hooked a bit and just turned the truck at the front there down, and there was nothing we could do about it. I was upside down before I knew what happened. So yeah, fast repair done. We'll hopefully not need another one because we don't have any more. But yeah, I mean, it's just a game of chess at high speed. So you've got to put yourself in the right spot. And for my thoughts, being right at the front was the safest place to be, but maybe not.
Actually, no, we were actually commentating that on the broadcast, and you're exactly right in how you called that incident, Brenton. It was the outside. They just got checked into each other, and you had nowhere to go. Ruben obviously got caught up in that as well. A lot of guys at the front did. But the thing that was interesting to me early on in that stint was you were happy to run at the front, but you know as well as I do with these plate races, you would have been using more fuel than Jaden. And I was saying maybe you want to switch positions at some point and try and change that up. So when Ruben got in front of you, Peter made the comment going, that's actually really good for Brenton. You can sit down and try and save a bit of fuel to bring back to the field. So were you trying to stay at the front or do you want to drop back?
Yeah, we had a couple of guys hanging around the back as well, and they were keeping an eye on their mileage, and it didn't look like they would be able to make it even back in the draft with one less stop anyway. So wasn't too worried about that. It was sort of like 20-odd lap stints through to the end, and we would have been fine. But so I wasn't too worried about the fuel burn being at the front. But you're right, you're certainly using more, and it might have to be reassessed now that we've got a bit different number of laps to go. I haven't figured out the maths on that yet, but I was just more hoping to try and stay up out of trouble more than anything. Was the goal of being at the front and dictate some of the pace, but it didn't work out that way. So yeah, we'll see what happens now. Maybe we won't want to be right at the front going forward from here, but we'll figure that out on the fly.
No worries, Brenton. Well, thanks for making yourself available again, mate. And we wish you all the best for the rest of the race. And we'll let you get strapped in, go green, mate. So thank you so much.
Promise, guys.
So out the front, he thought was going to be the safe line, the safe place to be. Down the bottom, up the front, but even even that wasn't a good call, but he said maybe not so much. Maybe not so much after the restart. So he's back down to 8th position. But Allison's out in front. He'll want to stick there as well. And
He
he's
will.
gonna have the yellow line, and one of your favourites too, I think, Aiden.
Michael Shaw on the outside of the front row. Shorey in the 07 Activity Hub Barley car. And ladies and gentlemen, just as we're about to go green, big thank you again there to Brenton Hobson to making himself available where we're live here on the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series. And we are green. And Michael Shaw has got a great jump on the outside of Brad Allison there as we see Ryan Jones and Jaden Russell on the inside and outside of row 2. So you watch them all bank up as we get in the draft here onto the back straight. Jaden Russell's going 3 wide with no one to help him. Jaden's not holding back. He wants to get in front. Who's going to help Jaden? Because if he has no one to help, yes, we've
got a third line.
Jamie Nankervis has jumped up with Terry Marwood trying to push that third line. And Michael Shaw is a sitting duck in the middle. Let's see what happens here. Can Michael Shaw hold his line? Oh, as Jamie Nankervis has jumped down and helped Michael, rather. So looks like Jaden's the sitting duck on the outside there, Peter. Sorry, I'm getting too excited. We're only 17 laps into 80 at Talladega.
This is the sort of racing we've seen in practice. These guys are a little bit further back. They're nuts. They're 3-4 wide. That's Jones, Shorey, Clark, and I think Nankervis. But they got to watch. They were a bit squirrely just before they had that incident, and that's what brought out the caution. They want to stay green. Looks like, oh, look at this. That's Jones in the lead of the race. Up there on the bottom line. Yep.
Yeah, but that outside line is starting to work. Michael Shaw's doing a great job keeping that truck nice and straight and allowing the guys to get right underneath that rear quarter as Jamie Nankervis is pushing him hard to the front now and the outside line. So now they need to drop down as they do right now. Oh, God, they're thinking what I'm thinking. And they are now in the lead. And Michael Shaw will lead us to the start of lap 19 of the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series here from Talladega. See Ryan Jones trying to work with Jamie Nankervis on the outside. Looks like Ryan Jones might actually lead this lap as it's such a long... No, Michael Shaw did lead the lap there. So I can't keep up, Peter. It just keeps switching. We do see Ruben Phelps there on the outside line after that unfortunate incident, doing a great job bringing himself back up there. He's working on the inside line as well. Brenton Hobson, as he was saying earlier, he might just sit back a little bit and watch this thing play out, and it looks like that's what's happening as well. We do have Josh Carroll-Walden and Josh Mickelmore, who are absolute legends at oval stuff, sitting back there as well, watching this thing play out. So a lot to go now, a lot of time to go now. As we go a quarter of the way through round 10 of the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series here from Talladega.
Yeah, lap 19 of 80, and you've still got that attempt of a third line. You've got a couple of cars, car 17 of Connor. He's sort of picking and choosing which line he wants. He'll go to the middle than the outside, so he's, I suppose, a good position for draft. But oh, look at this. Yeah, so Shorey and Nankervis and Allison, your top three.
Yeah, and these guys, Peter, sorry to cut you off. Shorey, Nankervis, Allison, also I think that's Norman Clark, Ruben Phelps. Those guys are probably just going to go step and toe on the inside for the next couple of laps, and they're just going to let the race unfold and not have any incidents. The guys at the back are going to be there at the end because it's all about draft, but there are a couple of guys on the outside there are trying to, like I said earlier, when Ruben tried to go outside, as we see there now, Ryan Jones trying to go to the outside with, who's that behind him? I believe that is
Allison.
In the car 12. No, that is
Blackburn.
Blackburn, sorry, with the iRacing livery. My apologies, viewers. But they're trying to see what that outside line does, but we did see that with that incident. Doing that too much too early, it can cause an incident. But, hey, they're here to race. That's what they come here on a Friday night for, and we love calling it because it's exciting.
Yep, it definitely is exciting. We've got you got Shorey and Nankervis No, that's not right, is it? Yeah, Shaw and
Yep.
Nankervis leading them away. I've got the liveries mixed up a bit there, but they're starting to pull away now. They're going to bring, I think, Jones with them, but they're starting to pull away. The High Line, I don't know whether the High Line's working or not. They seem to be going up and down up there.
The High Line's definitely going to work, Peter. They just need their buddies to get up in behind them, as you see car 17 there joining on, car 7 joining as well. The High Line will definitely work, but as you see there, Blackburn, see how he's jumping out of the draft and not keeping that steady line. That's what's not going to make the High Line work. You really need to be right up under the car behind and keep it nice and smooth and get that side draft while you're in a straight line down the back straight, because as you see here, as they go through 1 and 2, I believe, if you come onto the back straight, you can drop down a little bit. As you see Jonesy, see how he drops down, trying to get that side draft. You have someone pushing him, but number 12 has tried to make a move on Jones, so that's really not helping. So that's why the top line's not going to work. So the guys on the inside at the moment are just going to play it safe and cruise around, and until Blackburn learns to sit in behind Ryan Jones and push him to the front, the outside line's not going to work, Peter.
Yeah, but you see the inside line. Who's that of Nankervis just floats a little bit there. He's almost rear end. You got a slow car back there. Very slow car. That's Shannon, right? No.
Reese May, I believe, is out. Really unfortunate for Reese, because Reese was going really well early. I'm not sure whether he didn't realise he had a fast repair.
Yeah, not too sure. There's a slow car just falling back into the field. I didn't catch that number. Not too sure, but who we got here? So Shaw still leads them away. Back to Jones.
Yep, back to Jones on the outside line. Jamie Nankervis right on the inside there behind Michael Shaw, followed closely by Brad Allison. Really interested to see how this fuel management runs out. I didn't do a lot of laps around here when I put the setup in, which is just the base setup for iRacing, but we did do a fuel change on how much fuel drop they had. So not really knowing what's going to happen here, but great drive by Michael Shaw to be up in P1 at the moment. And he started at the back. So like I said earlier in the broadcast, it doesn't matter where you start on these super speedways. You can always get yourself to the front, and Michael Shaw has made it exactly possible tonight. And you can see that now with the 07 Activity Hub Bali car there leading the way with Jamie Nankervis behind him as we go 3 wide with Ryan Jones in the middle, the 17 car in behind Shannon Blackburn trying to create a third line. And is someone going to jump up with him, or is the 17? Yeah, now we go back to 2. So very smart driving there by the drivers to create it nice and clean. But look out for these FGM E-Cast trucks, Peter. Look out for them as we see Norman Clark there in front of Ruben Phelps, and we got JCW in behind them. Look out for them. They will definitely be there at the end if they keep clean. Brenton Hobson and Jaden Russell, where are they at the moment? So Hobson's back in 14th, Jaden Russell in 11th. So they probably dropped back a bit, like I've said in the commentary that we did. They're probably just sitting there and waiting. They don't want to fight that at the moment, especially with no more fast repairs. So they're just going to sit there and wait until the end. So a lot to play out here on the next round of the Sim Esports Network Switch Up Series right here on a Friday night, Peter.
Yeah, still plenty of racing in them. Just touch on them FGM cars. They are very clean. Look at this. There's no damage on them. So, and they're yellow, so you can't really miss them. But the High Line's starting to work again. So it's coming back in. There's 5 cars, I think, have joined the High Line. And it's Jones leading them. There must be speed out there because as they wobble again, so they're going to drop back again, just as you mentioned. But the low line is where I'd be at this point, and Shaw's doing a good job leading it.
See, Peter, a great thing. But what I can say here, viewers, is Ryan Jones is doing a great job trying to get that outside line running. But the problem is you see the purple car, I think it's the 17 car, always trying to make that pass on him. You can't do that. Like, the race isn't going to be won. We're only 27 out of 80. So they need to be working together and pushing each other up and just staying in line instead of trying to fight each other. And that's why that high side is not working. So Ryan Jones is doing a great job on the outside there. He's really got nowhere else to go. So he's just hoping the guys behind him will just sit there and push. But not sure who the 17 car is at the moment. I've just got to catch up on my live timing. That's Phil Connor. So Phil looked like he was very racy and trying to get a run on Ryan, but he really needs to work with Ryan. I know a lot of these guys aren't teammates, but on super speedways, sometimes you do need to work with them a little bit to put yourself in the money hour, as I call it, and that money hour is the last 10 laps.
Yeah, well, Muscat now is joining the tail of the high line. He's starting to push him up because you can see the high line. They're getting their stuff together and they're giving this low line a run for their money. And as they split again. So that is the problem. So we're going to try 3 wide. No, they slip back. So again, that high line starting to fall back through.
Yeah, definitely there, Peter. But if I was Michael Shaw here now, right, like if I go into my racer's brain, which is sometimes really simple, so forgive me, viewers, I'm not the best driver, but if I was Michael Shaw now, I'd probably be drifting up into that third lane and just letting them go and sit in behind them and save a bit of fuel and try and transition through my pit stop, because I don't know, Michael Shaw's doing a great job at the front here. He's really doing a great job for Activity Hub Bali Racing. But I don't know. I don't know what their fuel's doing. As Hobbo said, it wasn't really an issue, so he's probably just sitting there going, I'm going to dictate terms here at the front with Jamie Nankervis, as Jamie's working really well with him. But I suppose I'm probably going to contradict myself as well at the same time, because, well, sure, he's at the front and he's thinking I'm out of the trouble. So he's just going to sit there and keep out of the trouble. But what's your thoughts, Peter, as we head into lap 30 or 80?
Yeah, we've got my thoughts is I've seen a slow car up ahead, so they're going to have to get around that. I think they already did. Yeah, they did. I missed that, but I think they're playing it's pretty smart. They're just turning over the laps. It's lap 30, so you're not even halfway, but they're ticking over nicely. The high line, even though it's up and down, it has got its positives. I can see there's lots of speed as they link up again and get back up the front. So they're just clicking over the laps at the moment, and I think they're comfortable where they are.
Yeah, they are. But how about we have a couple of minutes rest as we're 30 laps into 80 of the round 10 of the IndySim Esports Network Switch-Up Series. And how about we go on board with Jamie Nankervis in second place behind Michael Shaw and look what it's like to draft in behind the leader at Talladega Super Speedway here in the NASCAR Gandor Outdoor Trucks. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. There is the hot seat from Jamie Nankervis in behind Michael Shaw. That's what it's like to draft around Talladega here in the NASCAR Gander Outdoor Trucks at the Sydney Sports Network Switch Up series on a Friday night. And as we have said again, joining me in the booth is Peter Gretton, bringing you all the amazing commentary that we do. Do you like that little self plug there, mate? Did you like that one?
Yes, it was quite good. My advice: don't step outside on a windy day. The tickets might fall off. But you know, that's I think we all got tickets. But yeah, it's good to be.
As long as it's a gold lotto ticket, mate, I'm good. As we're about to go 2 or 3 wide here at Talladega, but yeah, mate, great call. Yeah, definitely, the tickets might fall off, but we've got to bring the content to the viewers, so we might as well switch it up as we do here on the Switch Up series. So thanks for joining us again on a Friday night, Peter.
Oh, yeah, it's a good series to call, and it is a Switch Up series. Ovals, dirt, bit of road in there as well, but you can see one of them FGM cars leading the high line now. So that is, let's find out.
Norman Clark with Ryan Jones in behind him with, I think that's Phil Connor on the outside in the 17. So Norman's having a stellar drive tonight in the 06 FGM E-Cast and Atari Autosports truck. And I think they run the Chevy Silverado, as you really like there, Peter. So there's the Silverado at the front. Actually, the Silverado's both 1 and 2 on the outside inside. So there you go, mate. Your truck's at the front.
Yes, a Chevy field actually. We've only got three Falcons, a couple of Toyotas, but you know, it's sort of NASCAR. It's pretty much the fiberglass shell that's different. They all run the same chassis and engine, so but it's all about the driver, and these guys are doing well. Norman Clark now's leading the high line around, and he's got Jones behind him and the car 17 of Connor to work with, and the high line's working again, Aidan.
Yeah, exactly. And apologies, viewers. I just said 06 on the outside line. It's actually 09 and Norman Clark. I'm just used to saying 06 from the Cranky Sports of Ruben Phelps, who you see there on the low line, 3 cars back in probably about 7th position. So my apologies there, viewers, as we run into 35 laps, about to cut to 36 of the 80 here on round 10 of the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up series. But that high line is trying. They're really trying. But Peter, I reckon we're going to lose our voice in the last 5 or 6 laps. I really do, because these guys, it's like the calm before the storm. They're just sitting there. They're doing their thing. A couple of guys are trying to move their moves and show their hand and go, okay, I'm going to have a little bit of a go here. You're going to work with me. You're not. The guys on the inside are doing a great job just sitting there. It's a bit of chess. They're playing a game of chess at the moment. They're just moving around, seeing where they're going to be, and with nearly halfway through the race, it's about to heat up. We've still got to go through the pit stop, and that's going to be the decisive factor. Who stuffs their pit stop up?
Gone 3 wide. 3 lines now.
And
someone in the wall.
Like I said, game of chess, and there it was. And whoever that was in the wall, I'm not sure who, Terry Marwood in the wall as we went 3 wide. But the guys I need to look at, Peter, you watch these guys. And I'm going to say this, and you can bring that back to me on the broadcast later with about 40 to go. You need to look for Hobson, Fletcher, Mickelmore, Russell, and Joshua Carroll-Walden. Those 3 guys are just sitting back there, letting it all play out. They're cruising around, not getting involved in what's happening at the front, because I reckon a big one's coming shortly with how these guys are running.
It's Talladega. We've seen the big one, or is we going to see another big one? But now 3 lanes. The 3rd lane has formed. I think the 3rd car's now, they're trying to merge back in, so they got to pick their mark. Who's that we got? He's a sitting duck. Josh Milkamore, I think, is...
No, that's Shannon Blackburn on the outside, I believe, in the car 12 there, Peter. Sorry to correct you.
Oh, sorry, it's 12th position I was looking at. My apologies.
Yep, Josh Micklemore's at the back there with Brenton Hobson and Fletcher and Shannon Wright and Jaden Russell. So he's sitting there. He is in the chat with those guys at the moment. So they're wily old foxes. They'll be back up there. They're just sitting there waiting for this all to play out. So Currently, Michael Shaw still doing an amazing job up there in P2. Norman Clark leading it. Great job, Norman Clark from New Zealand leading it. It's great to see the diversity of nationalities here on the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series. So Norman Clark is from New Zealand. Michael Shaw out of Perth in WA. Also got Jamie Nankervis from Brisbane, Queensland. I think Ryan Jones from Brisbane, Queensland. Brad Allison is also from the Central Coast. As we are about to go into the pit stops, as that was great driving by Brad and Shorey and Jamie there to not hit each other. So we're about to transition through the pit stops there, Peter.
Yeah, I actually only thought they were going to just sort of take the very low line, but they dived into the pits. I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting it maybe at lap 41, 42, and that's more a guesstimate than anything. But there's going to be a few different strategies because everyone knows what marks they want to hit, and just about to click over the halfway mark. I think Hobbo touched on his interview that he could have done stints of 20, but that safety car, or the caution rather, has changed that up. But I can't remember what lap we saw the pace truck come out, but we've had a big section of green, and green pit stops, well, that throws it in, is another group.
Yeah, I don't think 20 was the number. You can definitely do more than 20. I think these guys are going to be pitting in the next lap or two. It's been about who's been sitting in the draft. So as you saw there, Michael Shaw ran a lot at the front, so he would have needed to pit. But what Brad has done, he's jumped in with the pits with him because he doesn't want to get left stranded without a tow. So they'll be talking, and he's jumped in and wanting to get out and keep that tow. So unless something's gone on with the race setup and different fuel, but they're all on 75% fuel. So these guys at the front now are doing a great job with their fuel, but they're definitely going to be pitting in the next lap or two, I'd say, Peter.
Yeah, mate, and by this stage of the race, you've already been on track, as you see the FGM boys and co come in. But at this stage of the race, that you know who the consistent ones, who the reliable ones, who's your mate that you want to stick to at the end of the race. So that's why we probably did see a little bit of 3-4 wide action. I don't think we quite got 4, but you know, they're just choosing their mate and trying to find a selection of people. And I think now that they're cycling through the pit stops, you pick your mate now because you're out of sequence with the rest of them.
Yeah, definitely, Peter. And as we see Brad Allison, Jamie Nankervis and Michael Shaw at the moment, they've worked together through the pit stop. Michael Shaw really needs to get down there behind Jamie Nankervis, but he's going to drop down in behind the green car. I'm not sure. Ryan Jones at the moment. So you watch these guys jump. They're going to come out and they're going to get a big run on the guys that have just pitted. See them coming out of the pit stop now. So they're going to get a big run. So we're about to all group up together. And don't be surprised if we see Brad Allison take the lead of this race as we come down the back straight. But, Michael Shaw. Oh.
That was close. That was close. That was wild. They've done very well, the guys that were exiting pit, sorry, not to get involved in that, but that was close. They could have been way worse.
The thing I'm really excited about is, we see JCW at the front now. I don't know what's happened through his pit stop. He must have had a great pit stop. Norman Clark, a great pit stop. They've definitely needed to have pitted so far. But we see Hobson and Russell and who else we got? Like, they've all just come back up on each other through the thing, and Josh Micklemore's there in front. So great pit stop from Hobson, Russell, Micklemore to be able to jump up there. I don't know what happened with Brad Allison, Jamie Nankervis and Michael Shaw through that pit stop. They mustn't have transitioned as quick as the guys in front because they have definitely jumped them. But if I was Brad and those guys, just jump in behind and just watch for the next couple of laps and save that fuel, because as we just seen, we did go yellow early with 42 laps into 80. It's still a fuel race, so they're definitely going to need to save maybe a tiny bit to be able to go hard at the end, because when you want to be at the front of that train and get people pushing you, it's going to use more fuel. So now's where you need to be the wily old fox and sit back there and just wait and put your car or truck rather in the position to win this race in the last 5 laps, Peter. So, but thanks again for joining me, mate. We're back on ovals. I know you don't do ovals a lot, but I know you've been loving it and love calling it with you. So thanks for joining us again.
No, mate, my pleasure. It's I just want to comment that move led by Brenton Hobson and co. Then 4 cars, they just made that look so easy. They just pulled out, they hit the high line or the middle line and straight around them 2 yellow FGM cars. So that was good driving by them, and they left enough room and they all come down together as a group. That's what you want. That's a good drafting pairing for those guys. That's Hobson, Russell, Jones and JCW, I believe, in that bunch. And Norman Clark and Allison are going to hook on the back, and they have. So it's about a 11 car chain, about 9 car chain, I think, that's working well together. And Phil Connor, I think they're going to link up behind soon too. So I think this is going to be essentially the lead pack.
Yeah, definitely. It's all going to settle down here a little bit as we go into lap 45. So definitely going to settle down. So we'll let you take a round for a lap, Peter. I'm going to bring someone up into the broadcast booth, but we don't want to spook them. So we'll let you do a lap or two with the guys as I try and sort that out in the background.
Oh. So we've got Mickelmore, Hobson, Russell. They're the top 3. So Ruben Phelps, as I'm getting in my ear, he's out by himself. And something's happened in his pit stops. He may not have pulled up. We may be able to get a replay of his pit stop. I'm not too sure if they come up or not. But something's definitely happened to the car 06 of Phelps. He's by himself. There's a field going to catch back up with them. But back up the front, they're doing very well. You got Mickelmore, Hobson, Russell. And you've got someone out on the side there in that green car.
And Peter, we do, I don't mean to jump in here, but we do have Ruben Phelps up here in the booth. We don't mean to bring you up unannounced, Ruben, but my teammate and Crank Esports, mate, great start to the race. What happened to drop you down there? Give it a little bit of insight into the viewers.
Let's just say that thanks to Jaden Russell, he just drives on the left lane of the pit lane and slammed into me, pushing me past the pit box. And he got no penalty and I did, so I'm a little bit piffed.
Yeah, okay, we just saw that on the broadcast, mate. So unfortunate there, mate. You had a really, really good truck tonight and you're driving great. So unfortunate, but we don't know what's going to happen. As we saw earlier, mate, there was an unfortunate yellow where yourself and Brenton Hobson got caught up in that, which was nothing to do with yourself. So there may be something like that happen again as we're going 2 or 3 wide again. So, mate, unfortunate, but thanks for making yourself available on the broadcast night, and hopefully we're talking to you at the end. But yeah, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Ruben Phelps there from Crank Esports. We see what it's like in the heat of the moment and the emotions that happen. So that's what we like to do here on InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series. See it in the moment. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You heard from Ruben Phelps live on what he's thinking while he's going through the race. But Ruben, thank you for making yourself available. Hopefully we're talking to you later.
Yeah, all good. There's still plenty of time. I just backed off to get to the second pack, so should be all good from here. As hopefully there's a crash. In a way.
No worries, mate. Best of luck, mate.
Thank you.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. That was insight there from Ruben Phelps, who was caught up in that unfortunate incident. But, Peter, I don't mean to keep jumping in. I feel like I'm talking too much, but I need to actually jump in with someone shortly, someone who is another teammate of mine, and this has nothing to do with teammates. The reason I'm jumping in is because he has jumped on tonight and he has never done oval stuff before. And he has jumped into the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series. He does a lot of supercar and GT stuff, and he's currently sitting in P8, Jason Muscat. So I would love to have a chat with him and see what he thinks about the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up series. But in saying that, we might let it settle down a bit because they are nose to tail. So I don't want to take their mind off it. So we'll definitely have a chat with him at some stage during the broadcast. But as Ryan Jones went 3 wide and he's been left out to dry, Norman Clark on the outside. Norman and JCW definitely need to work together a little bit more here. But Jamie Nankervis again blinking out. So a little bit unnerving there for the guys in front. Peter, all yours.
You definitely don't want a blinky car, especially when it's happening this quick. As the high line, it's shrank, so they're learning. The low line's working. Allison, Nankervis, and Clark are working well together. So it's them front 5 cars. You got them FGM cars. Funny, they're side by side. So will we see one come up or one come down? He's probably getting the I'm clear from his crew chief. So I reckon they'll want to pair back up, but they're doing a good job. They're just clicking over the laps. Lap 49 of 80. Still got 31 to go.
Yeah, Peter, they'll definitely link up at some stage. They're just trying to get that track position, and when Norman has a chance to jump down and JCW backs off a little bit to maybe let him get down, they will probably do that. But at this stage, they're just going to go in single file on the top and the outside. The outside run's having a good run, but I don't think it's going to be able to jump Brad Allison, who's doing a great job. But need to actually have a big shout out tonight to Jamie Nankervis. Car 18, he's kept his car clean. He's done a great job here on the Super Speedway and put himself in a great position. He's been at the front or thereabouts. He's raced his race. Very simple. Just done his own thing, raced his own race, kept at the front. He's been doing a great job. So it'd be good to have a chat to him during the race too if we can, but now's not the time. These guys need to concentrate. But we also have Josh Mickelmore there. And I know, Trev, if you're tuning in to the broadcast, mate, Trev Mickelmore, thank you for tuning in, mate. Love you, mate. You tune into a lot of stuff and support the Mitch Motorsport guys. Thank you for tuning in. So we do have Josh Mickelmore there at the background. He'll just be biding his time. He's a wily old fox, even though he's not old, but he will be there at the end. So, Peter, we are now 51 laps into 80 of the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series here from Talladega for round 10. And we need to just settle down for the next 20 laps because I reckon the 10 after that is going to be crazy.
Yeah, we all know how super speedways finish. It's just you're buying your times. You're buying your time and just being there. You want to be there and thereabouts. Just be consistent, click over laps, and they're doing a nice job. We've only seen the 1 caution period. It's a bit touch and go. We thought we were going to see it just a little while back when they went a little bit silly and they went 3 wide. You know, I think it takes a lot of courage to get out there because being up that high in that banking here at Talladega, you don't really want to be that high. You want to be down low as Allison, Nankervis, and Clark. They're the front 3 on that bottom line, and everyone else is just tucking in. Always just see. There we go. I think you predicted that Allison let him go past.
Yeah,
a bit of strategy.
Yeah, Allison's probably just dropping back here a little bit now and just trying to save that fuel because with the fuel numbers that I saw in that first one, which me just looking here on a broadcast, it's maybe a little bit tight. I could be wrong. So he's probably just wanting to get back out of the trouble and trying to go green to the end. Not sure what's happening there, but I'm sure we can get an insight. I'm sure Brad will allow us to jump up and have a chat with him at some stage, but I'm just going to do it at the right time because we're about to go 3 wide as Jamie Nankervis. Oh, Norman Clark nearly into the inside of Jamie Nankervis. So we'll just let it settle down for a little bit. These guys are playing for sheep stations here. So we'll just let it settle down a little bit and we'll bring a bit of insight to the viewers. So Peter, you keep calling and yeah, do your thing, mate. I know you haven't done a lot of oval, as I've said in the broadcast, but God, you're doing an amazing job, mate. So love having you on here, and great here on a Friday night in the Sydney Sports Network Switch Up Series as we're about to go 3 wide again.
Yeah, it's courage up there because it's got what I've seen. I don't know if it's a wrong call or not. I'm not out there. It's easy for us to call, but there's bugger all speed up there. You got to get down unless you're with a mate and you're gonna pass the car. I don't think it's not beneficial. As you see, he's getting hung out to dry now. These 3 cars in the middle line are gonna hang him out there. I think they might let him in if they're nice, but you're gonna see him fall back if he doesn't get in front of a car. It's all about the draft. And I don't think there's much. Oh, look at this. A bit scrappy again. So I think they're just moving up and down, Aiden. I think that's what they're doing. Just moving back, jostling positions to save fuel. So
Yeah, they are,
he's
mate.
in the lead.
They are, mate. Michael Shaw's doing a great job, but we've got in the booth at the moment. And Brad, sorry to jump you up here.
That's not a problem. Pleasure.
Really like impromptu, but mate, we saw you there at the front, and you've just sort of dropped in behind. What was your strategy there? Is it fuel, or you just didn't want to?
Purely fuel. We sure he led earlier, and he was short on fuel, so basically I'd had to pit 2 laps earlier than some of the other guys to stay with Michael, and I just need to stay out here a bit longer, so I'm running around half throttle at the moment just to pick up some laps.
And do you need to pit again there, mate?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Do you need to pit again? Or
definitely, yep. Need to pit again and take 10 gallons, basically.
Yeah. Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Brad Allison from Activity Hub Bali, or the Activity Hub Bali Racing Network, making himself available here on the broadcast as he's sitting there. So you see here now that he is literally trying to save fuel. I did call that earlier, though, Peter, that people are going to have to drop in and save fuel, and that's exactly what's happening tonight. But, Brad, thank you for making yourself available, especially at a super speedway where it takes so much concentration. So we do appreciate that tonight, and hopefully we'll see you in the box in the top 3 at the end of the race.
Pleasure, Aiden. Anytime, drop in for a chat.
No worries, mate. Best of luck, and we'll talk to you a little bit soon.
Well, here we have it, Aiden. The bottom line's working. All but one of this 19-car field is down the inside line. JCW leads that down back to Muscat and Shorey, Bright, Clark, Nankervis, Connor, Allison, we just spoke with, Mickamore and Brenton Hobson. You heard earlier as well, that's probably strategy. As I just say, we're down to one line. They come up, they prove me wrong. You got a couple of cars in the middle that are making a second line again, but it's predominantly the bottom line. And they're doing a good job. So JCW now leads the race. Is that JCW?
Yeah, that is JCW
Yeah,
in the lead of the race. He's been sitting back there for most of the race, so he'll be good on fuel, but they definitely do need to stop again. So the strategy is going to play out here. Who's going to run with each other? Because they definitely need to pit with each other to be able to get out and win this race. So JCW, he's a great driver. Let's be honest. He's a great driver on ovals. He knows what he's doing. So, but Norman Clark's not there to help him at the moment. So he's there. We got Phil Connor there on the inside. Michael Shaw having a stellar drive tonight. Absolutely great to see Michael Shaw up there tonight as well on the inside line, as we have Shannon Wright on the outside. Ryan Jones is that Ryan Jones in the purple car? Not sure. The 17, I think that might be. Anyway, we'll move on from that because
17's Connor.
Yeah. So yeah, great drive by Shorey. Great drive by JCW because he was sitting there at the back. Brenton Hobson there in 10th with Jaden Russell, Ryan Jones, Ruben Phelps, who we heard from earlier as well. So this is super speedway. They're going to come up and they're going to get them. So as you see at the back there, Hobson and Russell and all those guys, they're just sitting there. They're going to make their move through the pit stop. That's exactly what they're going to do. But great drive by the drivers tonight. There's only been one caution as we're 59 laps into 80 around Talladega. There's always a big one around Talladega. We got that out early. We got the cobwebs out early, and we are going green by the looks of it to the end. So we do have one green-white checker as well tonight. Oh, as the 7 of Muscat nearly gets into the door of Shannon Wright. So good to see Muscat too at the front, because he's never done oval stuff. He is a teammate of mine in Crank Esports. We invited him in here tonight, and he's doing a great job here on the oval. So good job by him. So, mate, what's your prediction? Let's do a prediction. So we're 20 to go. Let's do a commentator prediction on who's going to win this thing. And I know we're going to put the karma on them and we're going to do all that type of stuff, but we wouldn't be commentators if we didn't do it. So who's your prediction? Who's going to win this thing?
Well, I'm just having a look at my timing. The the stints and that you've got. They're all around about the 19th, 20, 21 laps. That's on the 19th lap rather that they pit. I think you're going to see. Oh, it's definitely a splash and dash, as I can't remember who we were talking to said.
Brad Ellison.
I think most of the field is going to be on the same thing, so I think you're going to see a busy pit lane with about 8 to go. I think is my prediction.
Yeah, it's whether they want to come in earlier though, because they're not going to take tyres. So it's all about who they want to work with. So it doesn't matter when they pit. It's whether they've got help and who wants to come in with them. So at this stage, JCW leading is really going to be talking to Norman Clark and go, when are we going to pit? So whenever they pit from now, they'll get to the end. They'll only take the fuel they need to get to the end. We got Michael Shaw in third, Muscat in second. They're really line astern at the moment. So what they're doing here, ladies and gentlemen, is they're just setting this is the game of chess that we've said. It's, Michael Shaw has just had a massive incident trying to come into the pits. That's ruined Michael Shaw's race. Unfortunate for him, 62 laps into 80. He definitely got a penalty for that. But what they're doing, they're just a game of chess. And when are they going to come into pit? And they need someone to help them. So we'll see what happens. JCW's in the box seat at the moment. We got Josh Micklemore in the background there. Muscat there in second, following closely. Norman Clark's in a great position at the moment. So Norman Clark and JCW will definitely pit on the same lap and try and work their way up. Also, Hobson and Russell will work together as well. So we are 62 laps into 80. It's all about to get crazy. Peter?
Yeah, 19 laps to go. So we've seen 4 cars. I think that's Connor, Nankervis, Shorey and Hoppet pit. So I think they're pretty much doing what you said. I think, Aiden, you said you might want to get in early. So is that a little too early? Did they jump the gun? There's only 4 of them to battle, but only time will tell. But I also noticed Allison, when he moved down, he moved further back. And the names that he's around as well, he's around Phelps, Russell, Hobson, Micklemore. Well, he's dropped down to 12th now, but maybe that's where he wants to be. Like you said, you want to pick your partner, pick your mate to the end, and he's dropped down, and there's a few very big names around him, so maybe that's in the planning as well, and try and jump them. Maybe a race to the finish line 4 or 5 wide.
Yeah, not sure there. Allison definitely was trying to pit there with Shorey. I'll guarantee you they were talking. And Michael Shaw didn't transition his pit lane that well, unfortunately, as we see there. So this is really perfect here for the FGM Natari Autosports trucks. So you see JCW and Norman Clark at the front with Josh Micklemore right in tow. Brenton Hobson right behind, Jaden Russell right behind them as well. So this has worked out well for all those guys because they're going to be able to come into pit lane when they do, but we're trying to go too wide here as people are going to need to pit. So Josh Micklemore and Brenton Hobson are not going to pit this time around because they're on the outside line. So not sure what's happening. This is exactly what I said earlier. The guys that see as the inside line goes to pit. So what Jaden Russell and Brenton Hobson have done, they've saved a lot of fuel. So they're going to work really hard right now as we can go and focus on Jaden Russell, Josh Micklemore and Brenton Hobson. They're going to work really hard on the next lap or two to get a really big draft and try and get that undercut on the guys through the pit stop. So we'll see what happens as this transitions. So as we said earlier in the broadcast where we saw these guys sitting at the back, they were definitely just waiting and trying to save that fuel. So I did say earlier on the broadcast, it was about fuel. Brenton Hobson said not really, but obviously it was. So we'll see what happens as these pit stops transition, Peter, but can't wait for the next 15 laps. It's about to heat up as we see Brenton Hobson jump into the lane and Josh Mickelmore follow him. Jaden Russell follow him. Hopefully there's no penalties. Who's going to get through pit lane?
Well, that was a nice entry, actually. And it's one thing that I'm learning and trying to get through my head with NASCAR. You can actually make a position in and out while you're transiting the lane. So that's a new thing for me to learn. But, yeah, so it's just transitioning through to, I suppose, this is the ticket. This is what the stop that you want to get right, because this is the ticket home. I think we're going to see green all the way through. There hasn't been many cautions. So right now, you pretty much pick it and stick it, because you do not have many laps to sort of change your strategy.
Yeah, I think the one in the box seat at the moment is JCW, as you see him come up on the back of Ryan Jones at the moment. But we'll see as they go down the back straight here at the moment when the guys transition through pit lane to see where he ends up in the field. But JCW's had a really, really good transition through pit lane. He's just going to use Ryan at the moment. The guys in the front are there. So Hobbo and JCW are out of pit lane. They're going to work together as well. So those guys have had a great pit stop. So at the moment, they're going good. Not sure we're going to see. Everything's going to tighten up now. I don't know. I don't want to call it too early. There's only 14 laps to go. Only two cars at the front. We've got Ryan Jones and JCW on the outside working together. They're going to really want to try and push to get Brenton Hobson and Josh Mickelmore, and they're definitely going to catch them with that group of cars behind. So we're going to see a big lot of pack racing with about 10 to go here, Peter.
Yep, I was just thinking the exact same thing, Aiden, that the field's back together. We're going to, the slower cars, well, not the slower cars, but the cars caught short without a mate, they're all going to link up and they're not going to want to lose the chain as well. So the guys that are out there sitting, out there by themselves, it's only a matter of time before they get picked up. There's a group of 4 or 5 cars up ahead of these guys, so they're going to catch them at a greater knot.
And here
pulls out to start the second line again.
And here we go, Peter. Ryan Jones, he never leaves anything on the table. He always goes racing. So Ryan Jones trying to create that outside line. And thank you, if you will, JCW. I'll go with you. But Ryan Jones just leaves him high and dry. And
it's definitely not a loyalty game. There's coming.
JCW helped push him to the front. And Ryan Jones just gone the big middle finger. See ya. I want to be in the front. So unfortunate for JCW, but he's got Norman Clark behind him there. See if they can make that outside line work. But this group of probably 10 trucks is probably what's going to be the end of this race at the moment. So strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen, for round 10 of the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up series here on InterSim Esports Network on a Friday night. Joining me in the broadcast booth, as always, is Peter Gretton. From behind the cameras is Paul Jackson, my lovely partner, Prue, doing all the socials. We've been a little bit busy lately, so that hasn't happened. But we're only 12 laps to the finish, Peter, and we can't wait to bring this to the viewers. And strap yourself in and get amongst it, because it's about to get loud.
Oh, I tell you what, mate, JCW would be absolutely spewing. He was up there side by side with the leaders of the race. He got left high and dry, and that's racing. By Ryan Jones there, he's leading the race, but JCW back in 6th. So it's 12 laps to go. Anything can happen, but he'd be spewing right now, I think.
Oh, most definitely. But at the end of the day, this is Dega and this is plate racing. So Jonesy didn't really need to do anything to help JCW. He's got Norman Clark on the outside there as well. So Ryan's trying to run his own race, but it might come to hurt him as well, because I know JCW is a good driver, and he would have helped him to the front, and Norman would have clicked on the back. But we'll see, because we got Hobbo. He's not going to leave anything under the table. We got Josh Mickamore, who's definitely not going to leave anything under the table, and also Jaden Russell as well. So your guess is as good as mine, but we didn't actually say who we think's going to win this thing.
I'm going to go Mickelmore. I know who your favourite's probably going to be, or one of two, I think. But I think Mickelmore or JCW, but I will go Mickelmore out of them two.
Yeah, Mickelmore is definitely going to be up there. I don't know. I asked you the question. Now you put me on the spot. So I would probably say, from what I'm looking, I'm going to go Norman Clark.
Norman Clark?
Yeah, he's sitting in a good spot. I reckon there's going to be an incident with 1 or 2 to go, and he's going to drive through and win it.
He's had a very clean race, actually. You haven't really heard or seen much of action with him in it, apart from just sitting there clicking over laps. And you blinked, you missed it, really. We've done 70 laps. Would you believe it? 70 laps done.
I know,
and
it's gone
still
so
side
quick.
by side. It has.
Gone so quick. But in saying that, I said Norman Clark, Peter. You look behind. Look at that train coming up behind. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So Phelpsy's going to be in there as well. So I can't write off Phelpsy. He's going to be in there. Well, from what I'm seeing on the timing, it looks like Phelpsy's up there. I can't see his Crank Esports colours at the moment, but Muscat's there as well. I don't know. We can flick a coin. Let's flick a coin. If anyone's watching on Facebook, let's make bets. Who's going to win this thing? Get amongst it. As we see Brenton Hobson pushing Ryan Jones really hard down the back straight there, Peter.
It's going to finish just the way it started. It looks like they're doing a formation lap, well, very fast formation lap, but as they pick up the rest of the field, we're going to have a 19-car chain to finish as we started. You could just restart the clock. I don't think the guys would want to sit there and do another 80, but I reckon I could call it, as we've pretty much picked up the whole field now. And the high line is starting to work. They're learning from it. They're a lot steady, these guys. You got Allison, and I think, who's that out in front with him? Is that Clark?
So Allison's right in there behind JCW. You got Norman Clark in behind Brad Allison. So they're really trying to make this outside line work at the moment. That's their only way to get up the front. They're really going to have to push hard, get that side draft. So JCW nearly has dropped down a little bit to try and get that side drafted a little bit more to try and push up to the front. As we see Brad right behind JCW. Ryan Jones doing a great job on the inside of the front row there with Brenton Hobson behind him. Josh Mickelmore just sitting there, just waiting to deploy. But the problem is with Josh Mickelmore at the moment, he's going to get boxed in a little bit with 6 laps to go. So Josh Mickelmore's going to have to make his move on what he wants to do shortly, because otherwise he's going to have nowhere to go. Jaden Russell sitting there behind Josh Mickelmore on the 4th row on the inside, as we see Ruben Phelps. That's Ruben Phelps going to the inside. So Ruben's actually gone down a lap by the looks of that. Unfortunately for Ruben, so great job there staying behind or getting out of the way of the front, but that's given the outside line a good job to get a good push down the back straight. There's a midline going, trying with Muscat. Oh, as we see JCW jump to the inside in front of Ryan Jones. So good move there by JCW, but not good for his teammate. Brad Allison is there with Norman Clark, so that's left Norman Clark out to dry a little bit. Probably should have worked with Norman a little bit more, but in saying that, we're not behind the wheel here, Peter. So, sorry, I'm about to get really excited. We've got Brenton Hobson on the inside there as well. We're about to go 3 wide, I'll guarantee it, mate. You take it over for a lap.
We got an incident at the back.
Here we go. Here's the green-white checker.
Who was that? Oh.
Looks like Jamie Nankervis, I believe.
Not too sure what happened there. I just caught it. Well, our director's getting a replay there, and just like clockwork, here it is. Oh, he's just gone up on him.
That was Muscat.
5 cars.
Musket into Jamie Nankervis, unfortunate. Who's that? Having a bit of a tumble. Number 10. That looks like Terry
Oh, he's gone
Marwood.
underneath him. How good? How good was that? I don't know what car that was. Oh, look at this. It's still happening. He went underneath him. He's going to keep going there. That yellow and black car, 31.
But the thing you need to realise, Peter, or the viewers need to realise, is some of these cars haven't taken their one fast repair, so they might still be out for the race yet.
Oh, wouldn't that be good to see one of them come back and win? It's probably doubtful, but 5 laps to go.
We will see. We will definitely see.
Oh, that's just it. They both come at the times that we we least expect it. I did not expect a caution here, Aiden, at all.
Yeah, definitely didn't. I believe that we were definitely going to go green to the end, but we do have Jason Musket up in the broadcast booth who was involved in that incident. Jason, have you got a copy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Mate, thanks for joining tonight. I hope you've had some fun on the oval. I'm not sure you've done a lot of it, as we've spoken earlier, but what's your insight of what happened in that incident, mate?
I was just trying to hold the middle line, and someone dropped down in front of me, I think, and clipped me. I hope I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, we haven't seen that from the broadcast perspective yet. We did see the incident. We can't commentate on that. Have you got a fast repair left? Are you using that now?
I've already used it.
Oh no, that's terrible. So
yeah, I really don't know what I'm doing with these oval stuff. As you know, I'm a road racer, so I'm just out here turning laps and trying to stay out of trouble.
Mate, you were up in the top 3 there for a while. You've been doing a great job.
Yeah, but I when we all pitted in, I copped a 15-second hold for speeding through the pits. That's what's put me back.
Oh, that'll do it.
Yeah. So, Spiel, I hadn't really made a mistake up until then.
No, well, you've been doing a great job, mate, and thanks for joining the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series. For the viewers at home, Jason Musket is my teammate in Crank Esports in other things that he does, so he has jumped on tonight and had a trundle here in the oval, and we really do appreciate it, mate, and you did a stellar job tonight. Jumping in here very blind, so we do appreciate it, and we do appreciate you making yourself available to jump up and have a chat during the race. So unfortunate incident tonight, mate, but wish you all the best, and we hope to see you back on some oval stuff shortly.
I will do. Thanks for having us.
No worries, mate. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. There's Jason Musket from Crank Esports here on the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series, bringing it to you live here on the InterSim Esports Network. Joining me in the booth here again, as I've said all night tonight, is Peter Gretton. Mate, strap yourself in. I hope you got belts in your seat because it's about to get lively.
I've just tightened them, mate. I've just tightened them because it's going to be, what is it, probably a 3-lap sprint to the end of the race, and all the big names are there. JCW's leading them around under pace truck. Jones, Allison, Clark, Hobson. That's your 5. Micklemore, my pick to win it. Just outside of that, Jaden Russell, Phil Connor, and Shannon Wright. And Musket, well, you just heard from him, he's out of the race. So 9 cars on the lead lap and 3 to go. The lights will go out, and I think we'll have 3-lap sprint. So they're barely going to get up to top speed after this caution, Aiden, and it's all going to be done.
Yeah, our first lap will be getting up to speed, and then we're going to go 3 or 4 wide. We'll definitely go 3 or 4 wide, Peter. These guys are not going to leave anything on the table. This is the Switch Up Series, and we see that every Friday night. They come in, they have a couple of bevies, or whether it be lemonade, water, beer, whatever they want. They come in, they have some fun, and but they're professional about it. And you're not going to see them hold anything on the table. And if I look at the way that these guys are going to start, we've got Joshua Carroll-Walden holding the pole at the moment. Ryan Jones, who never leaves anything on the table, will be in second. He doesn't have to worry about tyre wear. Usually he struggles with that because he drives too hard, but he's super fast. In second, Brad Allison. I'll have to call him the wily old fox because definitely a great driver in the wily old fox. Norman Clark having a stellar drive tonight as well. Up there, Josh Micklemore, will definitely not leave anything on the table. Brenton Hobson, Hobbo88, as you see on YouTube, Facebook, jump onto him. He's there on the inside of the third row. Phil Connor, never write him off as well. Jaden Russell there as well. Like, where do we stop? We got no idea. I can go through the whole field. We do not know who's going to win this thing.
Well, they have the courage to go 3 and 4 wide. We've seen it, and they're gonna. That's just gone tenfold now. 3 laps to go. It's no hold bar. It's just put your foot down and hope for the best. I think win it or bin it. That's the approach I'd be taking. Anyone's going to win.
Yeah, definitely. But JCW and Norman Clark definitely need to work together here. They need to work together here. If they don't, they are going to get left out to dry. You got Brad Ellison on the inside, Brenton Hobson there behind. I actually need to change my thoughts on who's going to win this. I believe it's going to be Josh Mickelmore. He is in a great spot on the outside there, and knowing how people have been working and who's in behind, I think Josh Mickelmore is going to get this. But we are definitely going to go 3 wide for the finish here, Peter. So get ready. Get your lungs ready, because we're about to go green, ladies and gentlemen, for the final couple of laps on round 10 of the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series right here from Talladega in the NASCAR Gander Outdoor Trucks here from Talladega Speedway on the InterSim Esports Network. So as we come to the green, Joshua Carroll-Walden holds the field. Ryan Jones on the outside. On the inside, we have Brad Allison on the outside of him on the second row. We have Norman Clark as we have a really, really long roll-up lap as we're about to go green here on the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series. We've got 2 laps to go. Brenton Hobson on the inside of the third row. Josh Mickelmore outside of the third row. And we are green with 2 laps to go here on the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series here on a Friday night at Talladega. And Ryan Jones gets the jump and drops down inside Joshua Carroll-Walden. We got Josh Mickelmore trying to make the run on the outside of Norman Clark, but he's got no friends. So what's going to happen with Josh? But then we have Jaden Russell trying to join up with Josh on the outside, and they have a great run down the outside here, Peter. We have Brenton Hobson jumping up into the outside line, trying to get into that and trying to get that move done as well. That outside line is really trying to get something done. As we are about to go into the final lap of the race, Peter, I'll let you have a chat.
Tell you, mate, that restart from Ryan Jones was something to marvel at. He's gone. Oh, he was going to go up to the high line. Oh, as I just give him a wrap, he's left high and dry out in the middle. And who we got? JCW and Norman Clark. Oh, big wreck. That's our green-white checker, isn't it? Oh, that'll finish under yellow.
No,
what happened there?
That should be a green. That should be a green-white checker. Oh, green to finish. Sorry, I thought green-white checker. So we go on to the end. Brenton Hobson is winning at the moment. Josh Mickelmore in behind.
That was an unfortunate move by Jones. He went to go high, and
here's JCW and Jones on the inside. Who's going to win this one, Peter? Sorry, I keep talking. I didn't think we'll go on green-white checker, but here we go. We are going to the start-finish line. Brenton Hobson on the outside, pushed by Josh Mickelmore. Someone's going to have to blink it at some time. JCW on the inside. Josh going for the outside. Oh, 4 wide across. Brenton Hobson gets the win from Joshua Carroll-Walden and Josh Mickelmore. What a race, Peter.
Who? Yeah, from the sky. Thanks. Good call from our EP. Let's go back and have a look at this finish. Wow, mate. Who won? Who won?
Brenton Hobson. Brenton Hobson got the win.
Let's have a look at this.
ACW and Josh.
Here we go.
Hobbo didn't. He had a few hips and shoulders on Josh Mickelmore there. He wasn't letting it go. Oh, what a finish! That was a bit of fun.
Elbows were definitely out. How good was that? I didn't know. I thought the Mickelmore, it was going to make it work around that outside. He had a good run out of there, and he just got squeezed, I think. But I think we went 4 wide over the line, just about. That's how you want to finish. But Hobbo got the goodies at the end of the night.
Yeah, he definitely did. How good was that finish? That was good. Hobbo got the shoulders out there on Josh Mickelmore. He didn't want him to get around the outside, but great finish here for the next installment into Sim Esports Network Switch Up Series. But as we see Hobbo doing some donut victories there down the main straight of Talladega, great drive. But tonight, mate, we'll go through the standings tonight, Peter, and we'll let you take them through the standings before we bring the guys up for a chat.
Yeah, after that awesome finish, Brenton Hobson brought it home in P1, JCW in second, and Mickelmore and Jones. You're seeing he went to go up. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but he went to go up and he got squeezed, got left in the middle, nowhere to go, but he's still top 5. That was good from Jones, and the restart was good as well. Right, it was the top 5. Connor, Clark, Russell, Allison back in 9th, Muscat in 10th, Blackburn, Williams, Fletcher, Hoppit, Nankovitz, Marwood, Phelps, Shaw, and Reese May was your grid, and that was 9 on the lead lap.
Yeah, great drive by all the drivers there, and as we see Hobbo having a fat time there, still doing some donuts there here at Talladega. So he's got to stop getting used to winning some oval and some NASCAR stuff. He's got to stop that a little bit, but no, he doesn't. He's done a great job. But anyway, we will go up to the top 3 place getters, and joining us first, P3, Josh Mickelmore, mate. What a finish.
Yeah, it was a interesting ending. Yeah, it was up the back most of the race to the last few laps, but yeah, it was a good fun race.
Yeah, mate, we saw that you were up the back and you were just chilling and biding your time, and the old boy Trev was there commenting on the broadcast and always in there behind you. And I could see you were biding your time. We spoke to Hobbo earlier in the race as well with fuel and everything going on, so we knew you'd be there. But old Hobbo didn't give you much at the end on the outside. He wasn't going to let you get that run.
Yeah, it was going to be a bit hard anyway. We didn't have enough people on the top, unfortunately. But I thought I would try around the top anyway for a bit of fun and that. But yeah, ended up riding tyres, I think, or whatever it was. So, but no, it was a good fun ending.
Yeah, well, back to a NASCAR track and in the trucks on the Sim Esports Network Switch Up Series on a Friday night, mate. We're back into the oval where you feel comfortable. You enjoy tonight. It was good being back into a little bit of something that you feel comfortable in, or you much rather do the other stuff as well on the Sim Esports Network Switch Up Series?
A lot more comfortable in these, obviously. I came in the last 5 minutes before qualifying. So where the other ones I need a lot more practice. But saying that, you know, I enjoy all the other classes we run. It's quite a diverse sort of a series, so brings in a lot of good fun and yeah.
Yeah, mate, and saying that too, with Skurlock not joining the last couple of weeks, and I think Dave Douglas as well, you're probably going to be leading this series with 2 rounds to go with drop rounds. So keep showing up and having those solid results, and you'll have a trophy on your door. But Peter, before we let Josh go, mate, anything you want to say to Peter before we give him a shout out to sponsor? Say to Josh before we give him a shout out to sponsors?
Yeah, mate, it was a good drive, good way to finish the race as well. You're actually my pick to win tonight, so I'll just note that down. But good drive. What were you thinking in the final stages when Jones just sort of went to go high, and you've got a little bit taily there, that used front guys. But what do you think when you're seeing that play out in front of you?
I had Hobbo in chat with me. We were on voice comms together, working together sort of thing. And I said, if anyone jumps in front of you, go off a bit higher. So, and he did that straight away, which was good. So, yeah. So we sort of knew it was going to happen, I think.
Yeah, you had a good drive, mate. Congrats on your third.
No worries, Joshy. So, mate, before we let you go, shout out the sponsors, all the usual stuff. Your time in the sun, mate. Just shout out to everyone.
Yeah, just for you guys for putting on the series into Sim Esports Network. It's a bloody good fun series to do, and quite a diverse series. Obviously, we're doing all sorts of different categories each week. So yeah, thanks again, guys, for putting it on. And yeah, all the other races tonight. That's about it, really.
No worries, mate. Thanks for being a part of it, and hopefully we can bring another one to you shortly and get a little bit more interest, but appreciate your time. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Mickamore, P3 on round 10 of the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series here from Talladega in the trucks. But going into P2, JCW, Joshua Carroll Walden, you got a copy, mate. What a race.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, got a copy. Yeah, that was quite an interesting race towards the end of it.
Yeah, it definitely was, mate. You were sort of sitting back there. From a broadcast and a racer point of view, I thought, I weren't working with Norman as much as I probably would have, but at the same time, it was all about track position. Jonesy, as he always does, sends it a little bit hard, and yeah, probably that last move in the last lap probably wrecked your chance of getting the win. But how'd the race unfold from your driver's seat, mate?
Yeah, there was a big wreck on the second last lap just as we were crossing the line there. So yeah, I had Norm behind me and we were pushing, and I think I thought, yeah, I've got this. I've got Norm behind me, but yeah, there were cars going, basically, in many directions. All I could do, was just try and get a push where I could, and yeah, unfortunately just fell short to elbow, but yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah, mate, great drive all night, though. You sort of sat in the wings, as Josh said earlier with his comments. You were sort of sitting back there and just doing your thing. That super speedway, you've got to get yourself into the game. And we did say on the broadcast, if you go back and look at it, it's a game of chess, and you need to just sit back there and get yourself into the window in the last 10 to go. And you definitely did that. Norman did a great drive tonight as well. So it was really unfortunate for Norman to not get up in the top three as well, because he had a stellar drive tonight. But super speedway racing on a Friday night, a bit of fun, but mate, congratulations on a P2. Great seeing you out here in the InterSim Esports Network. You have actually supported this series the whole way through, so we do appreciate it. But Peter, we'll let you jump in with Josh and have a chat quickly before we let him go.
Yeah, Josh, good drive, mate. You definitely know how to do ovals. We've seen you up the top pretty much every oval that we've done on here, and you're a great addition to the team. But this race here at Talladega, was it everything that it was pumped up to be?
Yeah, man, it was. It wasn't, anything specifically out of the ordinary. It's basically, stock standard for a super speedway race around Talladega. So, yeah, I always suspected that there'd be a late caution, and yeah, there was. Yeah, I knew from there on, even though I was in first place, there's never really an ideal place to be. It's just, trying to get all your cards in a row, and yeah, as I said earlier, just that final card just wasn't quite there. But yeah, I'll get the next one.
You'll take a P2 any day, mate. Congrats.
Thank you.
Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Joshua Carroll Walden here, second place getter on the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series. Thank you, Josh. Well done, mate. Any shout outs to sponsors really quickly before we let you go?
Yeah, shout out to Ferguson Group Media, Bridgestone Select, Race Magazine, Two Fat Blokes, AJ Insurance Services. Shout out to Norman. He had a fantastic race tonight. He's only getting better at the super speedways. Shout out to my other teammates, Ed and Jace. And shout out to you, Aiden, and you, Peter, in the commentary box for the great commentary, and old PJ blocker with the cams.
The old blocker. He would have wanted to block you all night tonight, mate. The old blocker. But anyway, there we go. JCW, thank you, mate. Thank you for being a part of it every Friday night. So we do appreciate that. As we move on to the winner, Brenton Hobson, Hobo88. Brenton, mate, we spoke to you during the broadcast, and you sort of sat back there, as I've said in the broadcast, if you go and watch it back, and you got there to the front. So tell the viewers how that went out. You're starting to become a natural at winning this oval stuff. And from me that runs a lot of oval, and you probably see my streams as well, I'm not really liking that, to be honest.
Oh, sorry, man.
No, it's all right. That was all said and fun.
I have been enjoying the oval stuff, actually. And yeah, I've been doing a little bit of it. But super speedway racing is a whole different thing. I mean, less about technique and car control and all that sort of stuff, and more about strategy and car placement and a bit of throttle modulation. And it's really strategy racing. So, like I said at that caution early in the race, we got wrecked early, so that sort of had to change our mentality towards it. And we just rode around there for most of the race after that. We sat at the back, and through the next green flag pit cycle, we worked together as a group. There was 4 of us together, and we managed to push our way from the back at the start of the pit cycle all the way to the lead. So we knew we could do it, and so we had that in the back of our mind, and we decided to fall back again. I made that decision because I didn't have any fast repairs in hand. So I decided to go to the back, and the boys came back with me and left our run till later in the race. And I wasn't sure, like the last caution, I didn't feel like I was well placed, 5th on the bottom. Didn't feel like I was in a good spot, but sort of forced the gap and got the elbows out and tried to go to the front and had a big run. Josh gave me a big push and was helping me on the top. And it worked out. We got through to the lead there right at the end. And I didn't sort of mean to squeeze him so hard coming to the line, but it would have been probably pretty close actually if he had got next to me. But still, it's just so much luck involved, I think, more than anything. You put yourself in position, but you still need a lot of luck to get the win on the super speedway.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Plate racing is definitely a lot about luck and track position. But funny you mentioned there, giving him a little bit more room on the outside when he was trying to go around the outside. We watched the replay on the broadcast, and you can go back and have a look at it. There was not much there. It would have been a lot closer. So we were going nuts on the broadcast. So it was great to see there, and a great win by you, mate. Really good considering how you sat back there and just managed the race. And you do that a lot in your races, and a lot of people that watch iRacing can go and have a look at that and watch yourself and watch other drivers like Josh and Joshua Carroll Walden and stuff, and how to win a race. So it was really, really good. But Peter, anything you want to have a chat to Hobbo about?
Yeah, Brenton. Aiden's pretty much covered it all, mate. But what I got out of that from your race was very disciplined, and you knew pretty much what you needed to do from the outset. And you took away P1, mate. So that was great, eh?
Yeah, I've never been particularly lucky on plate racing. I was saying in my stream earlier on myself, I don't know that I've ever even won a plate race before in anything other than sort of like a carb cup or a fun sort of hosted
You have now
race or something. So this might be the first time I've done it, and I mean I feel like I've put myself in position a heap of times, but just haven't been fortunate enough to do it. So you get to a point where you wonder if maybe you're not doing the right thing. So I was sort of always second guessing myself, but just stick to what I thought was the right thing to do, and you just try your best. And yeah, this time it worked out. So yeah, I'm really happy. I'm pretty pleased actually to pick up a win at Talladega.
Yeah, well, you can take a lot of confidence out of that one, mate. So congrats on your first place.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, great job there, mate, and thank you, Peter. So great job, Brenton, on a P1, mate. Before we let you go and we wrap up with all the sponsors and go on to next week, and first of all, we just need to thank you again, Brenton. This is your second week joining the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series. Hopefully you'll continue to join that for the next couple of rounds, but shout out to your sponsors and everyone you want to do. Shout out to your socials, everything. Now's your time. Have a go, mate.
Thanks. Yeah, shout out to SSR. Cool bunch of people, and a lot of fun racing with these guys. And to Josh and at the end there for giving me a push to the end and working with me all race, and J Russ as well, who was unlucky to get turned coming to the white. He's always fast and unlucky, so he copped a bit of bad luck again tonight. But it's good to race with him. It's always good fun racing with the guys in here. And sponsors: JK Signs, Smith and Sons, Aftershock PC, DGD Custom, Dophoto, DM Cinematography, and any others that I've missed that go on the cars. Thanks to you guys for putting on a series, and also for putting on the broadcast. I appreciate it.
No worries, mate. There we go. There's Brenton Hobson, the winner of round 10 of the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series. And he didn't mention as well, jump on and like his socials there on Hobbo88 on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all those type of things if you want to see what it's like from the driver's point of view. So jump on and follow him there. But Peter, what a round for the Intersim Esports Network Switch Up Series round 10 here from Talladega. It did not disappoint.
Definitely didn't. I actually was my first time. There's lots of firsts with me with this series, Aiden, but it was the first time that I've even been in a cup car. Actually, sorry, not a cup car, a truck that I had to buy it to get into the session, to be honest. So I haven't actually seen any of it, and I wasn't disappointed. It was good to see as we started the race. It was nice, fast, double line action, sometimes 3 lanes, very briefly, but after the pit cycle into the third stint of the race, you might as well say, it all finished the way it started. So that was that's what made it so enjoyable.
Yeah, definitely. And before we actually wrap this up, we have brought Ruben Phelps up into the broadcast booth because Ruben was running really smooth and really good earlier. And he did have a bit of an issue through the pit stop. So, Ruben, mate, you got a copy. Very unfortunate night there in the Crank Esports Toyota Tundra. Bit of an insight on how your race went for the viewers tonight before we wrap it up.
Yeah, no, it was definitely looking very strong on my part at the start, but of course, circumstances just put me back there. But then when Norman and JCW pitted, I thought I'd go with them, and of course, we all know once I pitted, I got hit when coming down from the left lane. It pushed me in the box, which lost me the draft. I did try and get it. I nearly got it, but I sort of missed out on it. But then, of course, you're stuck a lap down, just doing lap pace after lap after lap after lap. So I dropped down with a second group. And for some reason or another, there was a couple of drivers, or especially one driver in particular, I will not say names, but just didn't want to stay in the line and was just not helping anything. So, of course, we nearly lost a lap, and of course, they ended up pitting just as I got passed by the leaders. Yeah, the wreck happened, so that was the end of my night.
Yeah, unfortunate there, mate. You had a really strong truck and you're up there early, so unfortunate. But we wanted to bring you up and have a little bit of a chat. So we'll give you a chance to have a thank to your sponsors, even though that you didn't finish up there at the front, and we'll bring another person up as well and get a chance to be in the broadcast booth as well. Have a shout out to your sponsors, mate. Great drive. We'll see you again tomorrow night on Weekend Warriors, but shout out to your sponsors before we let you go, mate. I know it's really early in the morning or late at night there over in New Zealand.
Shout out to the Cranky Sport crew for the team, and you, Aiden, for being the teammate. And we're rocking all the oval series, and of course the rest of the guys on the Crank esports side. Of course, I race designs for the designs they do, and the virtual motorsport mentor. And you guys for doing all the broadcasting.
No worries, mate. Thank you. And hopefully we wish you best luck tomorrow night, and hopefully we can go 1-2. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Ruben Phelps from New Zealand in the Crank Esports truck. And we brought Michael Shaw up into the broadcast booth here, Peter. And the reason I did that, because he had a stellar drive tonight. Absolutely amazing drive. And Michael Shaw, have you got a copy?
Yeah, I do. Aiden, how's it going?
Yeah, good, mate. Sensational drive tonight. Unfortunate with that last pit stop. Looks like you missed the entry to pit lane and might have got a penalty, but you did a great drive tonight. You love your super speedways, and you were leading that for a long time. We did a lot of focus on you in the broadcast, and unfortunate for you not to be able to consolidate that into a solid position, but great drive, mate.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, worked really well with Brad and Steve. Unfortunately, I got a little bit confused when we're going to pit. I thought it was going to be the next one, and instead of just pulling out and just going around one more time, I tried to get in there and I couldn't, and yeah, I lost it there. But yeah, I think like I was really comfortable even in practice. You know what I mean? And I do like my super speedways, and unfortunately, it turned out like it did, but yeah, and also had the same running as that same driver as what Ruben said as well, but we won't name names as well. But up until that last pit stop, I was pretty comfortable, but unfortunately, at super speedway for you. But yeah, that was my fault more than anyone else's. So yeah, but it was good to lead. I was just disappointed where I ended up. That's all.
Yeah, mate, that's super speedways for you. We all know that. We race against each other every week, and it can happen, but it was really, really good to see you up the front there and giving it a really good trundle. So we called you a lot on the broadcast. It was really great to see you up there, mate. Refreshing to see you get a new wind after a lot of the stuff that's been happening and see you at the front. So really, really love that. And mate, that's why we brought you up into the broadcast. Before we let you go, Peter, do you want to jump in and have anything to say to Michael before we let him go?
Yeah, mate. It was a good drive actually. You got a lot of stream time. You were up the front for most of it. A couple of smallish errors that it's NASCAR. You sort of got to think 10 laps ahead of yourself and do a million things at once while you're watching another 18 of these nutcases on the track as well, mate. But unfortunate where you finished, but I'd take some confidence out of that one, mate. It was a great drive.
Yeah, well, absolutely, especially with the field that was there. You know what I mean? There's a lot of good drivers there. A lot of drivers that I look up to, especially Josh. You know what I mean? But everyone knows I used to run leagues, and just backing away from that just gives me more focus on racing, and I'm really enjoying it. Back racing again. There was a time where I wasn't, but I am now, and you get some good times and some bad, like what happened tonight. But it was really good to run up the front, and I enjoyed it. And it must be won't happen again. But it was a good race, and I'd like to thank you, Aiden, and Paul for putting it on and putting on the broadcast. My first time racing with you, and hopefully do some more.
So you say you do some more. You're going to jump on and do a little bit more of the InterSim Esport Network Switch Up series. I know you don't like some other things that are done in there, whether it be road or dirt. The InterSim Esports Network Switch Up series may change a little bit going into the next season, but we're not sure how that's going to go. But good to see you on there tonight. You're going to do a little bit more running on a Friday night, mate?
Oh, definitely. If there's ovals, like I'm an oval guy, you know what I mean, through and through. Definitely not. They're definitely not interested. I'd rather do a road race than a dirt race. Like I'm lost in it on dirt. But yeah, mate, it was with a field like that, that's the only way I'm going to get better. But I'll definitely be jumping in again. Absolutely, you still do a great job.
No worries, mate. Well, we look forward to seeing you in the next couple of rounds. And Peter, that almost wraps it up. And ladies and gentlemen, that's Michael Shaw from Activity Hub Bali Racing. And Michael, we before we let you go, we need to let you do a shout out. You've had a change. Obviously, the team's changed with Activity Hub Bali Racing. There's a lot of differences with where people have gone and everything, but it's all about you tonight. We brought you up into the booth. So shout out to all your sponsors, your business, everything. Shout out to them, guys.
Right. Well. First of all, just the guys that were in my team: Greg, Raymond, Justin, Nigel, and Matt, and Brad. I'd like to thank them a lot. You know what I mean? They've been great, and I really, really wish the best for them in the future. I'm sort of in a team by myself, but I sort of now we're sort of working with Brad and Steve. I'd like to thank them for tonight as well. Brad's great as well. I'll give my business a plug, which isn't going at the moment because of the COVID. But Activity at Bali, if you ever want to go to Bali, and go to my website, activityatbali.com, the biggest activity booking website for Bali. And also like to thank InterSim network. I was listening to the call while I was racing. It was great. So thank you.
No worries, mate. Thank you for that, and thank you for joining, and we hope to see you next week. But Peter Gretton, That's round 10 done and dusted, and we have 2 rounds to go. We have a drop round to yet be played out. We head next week to Lime Rock Park in the MX5. So the series points is really going to switch up, as we pardon the pun for the switch up series. So, mate, thanks again for joining me tonight. Great night. I can't wait for next week.
Going to be a good week. Oh, mate, everything inside of me. Now, don't laugh, ladies and gentlemen, because the MX5, in my opinion, is the funnest car on iRacing. But to put it at Lime Rock with the chicanes, I think you said, oh, I don't know whether I can commentate with you next week. I think I'm going to be driving. That would have to be my most favourite track and car combination on this. I know it's a weird one for some, but I just have so much fun. And especially on the variation that that you're going to do it on, I think. And there's lots of close battles. I've done millions of laps around there, so I know exactly what to expect when it comes time to. If I do sit next to you, I think I will. I don't think I'll get out and bash with these guys. They're too quick for me. But,
we'll see what happens, mate. If you want to have a run, you have a run. We'll be right. But the fact that you want to run it means that we're doing the right thing here on the Indosim Esports Network Switch Up Series. And tonight just showed it with 19 trucks going around Talladega at 1,000,000 miles an hour. But Peter, thank you so much for joining me in the broadcast booth tonight. You did a stellar job. Always good to have you on board, and look forward to doing a lot more calls with you moving forward. But quickly, before we wrap up this broadcast, I just need to make a shout out to all the sponsors. So Mayhem 4x4 Mechanical, jump onto their Facebook page. They are a local sorry, I'm just reading. Sorry. They are a local service business for cars around Brisbane. So they will come out, and they are mobile. They'll do it at your home. Short Shift Sim Racing Magazine with Devon Stove, who has given us a lot of images and a lot of vision through there as well. So thank you to him and that magazine. Also Locked On iRacing with all the podcasts. We haven't been on the podcast lately because we have been busy with work and stuff, so we haven't been able to give the results. So we do apologize for that, but a big thank you to Locked On iRacing and Locked On Lads for all their support. Voodoo Vinyls and Signs, who's doing all the trophies for this season, a big thank you to them as well. Vision Simages, who brings all the images and the photo images to us. Jump on to John Sorensen and him on Facebook and get amongst that if you want any of your iRacing images. We didn't have any from last week because we had an issue with the replay from the race, so we do apologize for that, but that will happen again tonight, and we'll have a lot of images coming to you through the week. Virtual Motorsport Mentor Chris Pennell, thank you so much to him as well. Driver training session coming to a random driver at the end. Also TP Graphics, TJ Pollard, giving a free paint also for the winner, random draw of every round. We haven't done that for a couple of rounds. As we said, we've been busy with work and stuff, and as we all do in the virtual world, we do have stuff going in behind and it gets busy. So, but we will make sure that anyone that has missed out on that, we will do that, and you'll see that live on the broadcast. And a Bruzy Australia, which we're not going to do a Bruzy Australia anymore. It is Simshed Broadcasting, who is a fellow broadcaster, who will be giving a free set of gloves at the end of the series to a random driver. So, Peter, that's round 10 done and dusted, mate. Before I wrap up the commentary, mate, anything you want to finalise out?
Oh, just shout out to all the blokes for turning up week in, week out. And hopefully we get a big turnout for what it's going to be an awesome night, Lime Rock next week. But another race. It was a great race, actually. It's a lot of things called us off guard, and yeah, it's just that's what I like about your series, Aiden. It's not the same stuff every week, and that's good as well. But it's just you let your hair down and you have fun, and that looked like fun out there. They were 4 wide almost to finish the race. So yeah, good race.
Yeah, definitely, Peter. Definitely second your comments. But as we finish the night here on a Friday night, ladies and gentlemen, we do thank you here on the InSem Esports Network for tuning in and watching round 10 of the InSim Esports Network Switch Up series here from Talladega Speedway on the trucks. So from myself, Peter Gretton in the broadcast booth, Paul behind the cameras, my beautiful partner Prue, for being there in behind on socials, and everyone that follows the series, we thank you for tuning in here on a Friday night on the InSim Esports Network Switch Up series, and we'll see you here live on the InSim Esports Network at 7:30 p.m. next Friday night from Lime Run Park in the MX5s. We'll see you next Friday.